You will go viral. You will plateau. You will lose followers. You will take a while to garner traction. You will get comments that don't necessarily agree with you. You will have people that try to tear you down. You will have experiences in which you start to feel like you've gotten it all figured out, only to then realize, oh my goodness, I have no idea what I'm doing. You will. And the creator mindset is so incredibly important for you to, at this point in time, recognize and prioritize because every creator I can help, no doubt about it, get them their first 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 followers. I can help with them increase their audience size. I can help them increase their reach. Because all of that is formulaic, right? All of that is strategic. And I can do that because I've done it at the highest of levels and my team has too. But what if I told you that that isn't the issue? Like that isn't the reason why creators ultimately can't build lifelong careers out of this. It's the mindset. It's the ability to juggle the thousands of decisions every single day that'll go through your brain and to be able to manage that in real time, to not get too high, to not get too low, and understand that there needs to be a steadfast, more regular approach. And that is what I want to talk about to you in this video. It's the idea that if you can understand these following tips, you will stand out, period. You have to realize that in every creator seasonal approach, something different is going to be there. And most people can't see that from the outside in. So if you're a pure beginner watching this, you're likely going to be tempted to just leave here. You're likely going to think, I just need the strategy of how to blow up. But it's so wrong, okay? Because you don't know it yet, but once you're inside of it, once you're actually posting and you're constantly thinking about all of these things, it's no longer just picking up the phone, talking to it, and blowing up. It's not simple. It is really, really, really challenging mentally, and it's very taxing. And you're going to want to take breaks at times. You're going to say, this is too much. I need a mental health month. And you're going to come back and realize your entire audience is gone. You're going to good luck trying to do that when you're selling a product and you're trying to build a brand around it. You don't get to take months off, right? And you shouldn't want to. Like if your mind goes there and you think to yourself for any stretch for longer than a few days and think, yeah, this isn't for me, I'm exhausted, I'm burnt out by this, it's because you thought about content the wrong way the whole time. And my entire mantra is to get you out of that thought so that, yes, there's definitely going to be seasons in which you feel a little bit low, but those low moments should still be filled with gratitude that, wow, you've built an audience the right way. And that you can still show up for them on a regular basis because that ability to remain consistent is the winning formula, right? And I'm going to show you how to be consistent. I'm going to talk about the entire front end to back end production system that I go through that makes it efficient and effective that I've been able to use to post content every single day for the last 5 years. But it's really the mindset that you need to best understand. So let's dive into these major points. Number one, you as the creator always gets to control how much you share. You have to put that into your brain, right? You control what you see in terms of the comments. You can block whoever you want to block. You can share any part of your story that you feel comfortable sharing. You decide that. You fully dictate that. You should never let go of that, right? You should never just do something because you feel like you're forced to do it. That's going to suck the joy out of the experience for you. So there's this common belief that you have to be vulnerable with your content, and you definitely do. But the falsehood in that is how much you actually have to share. And if you think about even my beginnings, when I was talking about my vulnerable content, all it was me saying I was a bad student. And that felt scary, right? Me telling people that I've gotten a bad grade felt scary. It only took me 3 full years posting every single day to even talk about the fact that my parents got divorced, right? And then eventually that deepened into a larger conversation of where my family came from and how we were financially poor. We grew up in an immigrant household, that my mom literally left overnight and I lost contact with her for 10 years. Those types of experiences was much further down the line. So don't look at my content today and think, I got to be that vulnerable. June, I can never share my entire life like that. What about stalkers? What about people that have bad intentions? I don't want my life around out there. I want to keep the privacy. You do get to keep that, and you should never let go of that. And I mean that wholeheartedly because I want to protect you, right? Everyone knows that I have an incredibly beautiful girlfriend. Nobody knows her name. Everyone knows that my dad is probably the most important person in my life. but nobody really knows his name and where he's come from. Everyone knows that I live in Philadelphia. Nobody knows where in Philadelphia, right? And that's very, very, very strategic. It's not because I don't trust my audience, but I know that my life needs to remain private. I have this whole mantra of private but not secret, right? Especially my girlfriend. I want everyone to know that I am in a relationship, that I am taken, but simultaneously, I want to respect her privacy, and it's my responsibility to do that. So, no, if you have any type of this hesitation towards content because you're afraid of being seen, you control how much of that is happening, and you should never let that go. Number two, every single post, treat it like a lottery ticket. If I told you that you could have an unlimited amount of lottery tickets, you would probably take every single one that you could possibly get. Because why? It increases your likelihood for success. That's what content is, right? So everyone asks me all the time, hey, June, why do you post every single day? Don't you get burnt out? And nowadays, do you need to? Because you have all these audiences and you make so much money. Why do you post every day? And it's the thought of, what do you mean? Of course I'm going to post every single day because one, it increases my likelihood for success, but more specifically for my future success, right? So content needs to be this investment of the future, not necessarily thinking about the immediate moment. And that's the greatest difference in a successful creator's mindset versus an unsuccessful creator's mindset. An unsuccessful creator thinks about how many views did I get yesterday? How many views did I get on my post today? And if it doesn't meet to a certain standard, then they feel bad about themselves. And that's how you burn out. A successful creator actually understands that it's one, impossible to constantly look at every single video every single day, see the analytics of it and not be overwhelmed, but also not to be mistaken, right? Because there's natural fluctuations of different algorithmic changes, right? So for you as a creator, you got to find what cadence works well. If that's a weekly cadence of you averaging metrics, great. If it's bi-weekly, great. If it's monthly, great. Whatever keeps your sanity is fine. But the reason why I'm saying that and the reason to post for the future is because if you get in the mindset of every single video needs to be optimized for views and then doesn't, then you're going to reduce your consistency. Instead, if you think about, if I post this video, I don't really care how it does in this immediate moment. I really care that in the future, when one of my moments happen, because I guarantee that you will go viral. I told you that in the beginning of this video. You will. If you follow the strategic elements of this entire course, you're going to understand that, yes, I now understand the technicals of how to actually craft good content. But that's not the problem, right? You don't want to be somebody that goes viral and then not know what to do with it. Think about those people that you saw populated on your For You page and dominated for about 2 months and they became irrelevant afterwards, right? Those same people that then do a story time and say, how I moved to LA thinking that my life was all made only to realize my engagement dropped and all the brand deals left me, right? That happens quite a lot of times because people overestimate their immediate success and underestimate what it really takes to build a longevity in terms of your career, right? So for my own thoughts, it's that you will have those moments, but what will people see when they come onto your page? If there's an entire body of work of content that is predicated on your story, your values, your messages, your content pillars, then great. People have a higher level of trust for you. Great. But more importantly, what will you have internally when that audience member comes? A consistent flow of content. Like you know how to craft it. You know how to show up regularly. You know how to maximize your stories. You know how to maximize your feed posts. You know how to maximize your time in DMs and comments. You know how to do that because you've been doing it. So get in this mental state of realizing it's not so much the immediate moment that matters. It's the future. Can I get better for posting content for the skill inherently and understanding that every bad post is getting me closer to that moment. And then when that moment happens, I'll be ready for it. Number 3, remember that content is for other people too. You should absolutely build a personal brand that fully aligns with you, that you get excited about. But don't mistake who you're actually trying to reach, right? You shouldn't just post content because you think it looks cool. And just because you think it looks cool, you think it should garner the viewership. And it's the same idea of when I started with fashion and fitness content. It's because I was thinking, that's what I think is cool. And I feel that that's what's going to make me liked by other people. So I'm just going to do it. Versus when I start to recognize, okay, wow, there are other humans on the opposite side of the screen. They probably don't care so much about me doing a surface level fashion video like I've been doing versus if I can actually speak to where they're currently experiencing problems in their lives, then wow, my content's doing better. Well, it's doing better because I'm actually serving people, right? And the deeper you can get into that, the more trust that you're ultimately able to build with your audience. And the reason why I believe it's so important to remember that as a creator is that you often lose sight of what the numbers really mean. So if you are somebody that constantly looks at their analytics and you look at the number of followers that are increasing, the problem with that is that you start to forget that 200 people is 200 people. Like 200 people in a room would be terrifying for you to speak in front of, right? These are real human beings. Actually, tend to them like they are. I have spent, ever since the beginning of me creating content, at least 30 minutes on DMs every single day with quick voice messages. So probably getting through 10 to 15 messages. And at certain days, it'd be 2 hours. At certain days, it's 7 hours. Certain days, it's 12 hours. And I've always kept that as a standard since the beginning. And obviously now, if I spend 12 hours even, I can't get through every single DM. But my team knows that there's a certain block in my day to day that they can't touch because I will be in my DMs. Why do I do that? One, it's to actually show people that I'm tending to them, not publicly, but privately, to actually express my interest in their problems. But also, from a selfish perspective, I have to learn what is actually a problem, right? Like, I feel that it's so obvious, but most people don't do it. If you are creating content and service for other people, but you don't spend time in free workshops, you don't spend time in free, let's say, group calls or one-on-one calls, or you don't spend time in your DMs, you don't then understand what your audience needs help with, right? So every single one of those DMs, I think about it as I need to, one, actually serve them that message and give them value, but simultaneously, I also need to ensure that I fully understand the context of what they're going through. And this doesn't mean that you're sitting there being a therapist for everyone. And trust me, I made that mistake and I would spend so long. You then get better at closing off the conversation. So you help somebody and then you wish them the best of luck. And that indicates a closing conversation because you can't be in there for, 2 hours per person, and then you're not going to be able to get to the other DMs, right? You have to be smart about it. But that has been the fundamental difference behind why I really understand exactly what types of businesses to build. I understand exactly when we're doing these free webinars and workshops, I know which topics to cover. I know exactly how to build a landing page properly because I know how to speak to the pain point. I know how to get videos that go viral, not because it's just the formulaic side of it, but because I understand what's actually going to resonate with my audience because I'm talking to them directly. I know what minimal viable content is. Minimal viable content is simply this idea that you have low production, but that quality is so high because you can speak exactly to where they are. So, for example, when I was posting a video on my way to Dubai, it was me sitting in the flight and I was really stressed out because I thought we were going to have Wi-Fi. We didn't have Wi-Fi for the entire flight. And by the time that we were about to land, I had to post this video, right? And I had like maybe a few minutes to get this video out. All I did was film myself and I had a huge text above me that basically said something along the lines of, when you grew up poor and you never had traveling as an option and now you were traveling to your sixth city in the last few months and now you're on your way to build your biggest business yet. And that was my trip to Dubai, right? And I filmed that, posted it. Most people would say that's such low quality, right? That's so low production that would never do well. They might say it's a bad piece of content, but I'll say that they have no idea what they're talking about because I understand my audience so well. And I understand that my audience's demographic has experienced a lot of what I've experienced because I've told that story. And therefore, when I post that, it's with good intention of understanding, this is a story of my own. It feels relevant for me. It took me 20 seconds to post, but at the same time, we got 1 million+ views because I understand what my audience wants. Never forget that you are doing this to serve other people, and that's how you actually build a loyal community. If you're struggling with constant unfollowing, it's probably because you're not tending to your audience the way that you're supposed to. Number 4, do not overthink your posts. And I say that even while struggling with the exact same thing. And it's very normal, but I have to put this out there because you're constantly going to be in a thought loop of, this video's not good enough. I'd rather not post it. But then you're inconsistent. Then you feel guilty about it. And then you have this endless cycle of analysis paralysis, right? And I don't want you to experience it the way that I did. But for you, you have to realize that every single post is getting you closer to, again, that viral moment, right? And you'll be ready for it. But sometimes it takes a ton of bad content to actually get there. And in the immediate moment, you won't know it as quote unquote bad content. Sometimes too, I post content I think is bad and then it blows up, right? You can't predetermine everything. You can't control everything. If you have a video edited, right, and you have gone through the process of taking the inspo and actually going ahead and editing it the way that you see fit, and then at that point, you are trying to make a decision of, is this worth it to post? I will say 99% of the time, just post it. Because the moment you post it, you're testing multiple different things. One, you're testing an idea inherently itself. Two, you're testing something called a messaging angle. Depending on what you were talking about in that video, it gives you more confirmation about which content pillars should further be crystallized. I know that's more of an advanced topic, but you also get better at that edit style, etc. You also allow yourself to be open to commentary from your audience on that piece of video. There's so many good things that can happen with one quote unquote bad video in your eyes that you should not overthink it. If you're ever in that standpoint, you should think to yourself, I'm not posting for the immediate moment. I need more data to be able to analyze so that in the future, I can even make more informed decisions about my content. But that is single-handedly the reason why I've been able to post every single day for the last 5 years. It's because a lot of them have been content that I haven't felt necessarily 1,000,000,000% like, this is going to work. I just posted it, and sometimes it works. Sometimes I was right and it didn't work, but it got me closer to the videos that did work. And now you look back in 5 years, nobody really remembers the bad videos. And those are things that I have to tell my team even currently today, that I don't mind just posting something to post it. And this, I really disagree with a lot of people, because people will say that is a bad thing. They'll say, oh, I should never post just to post it. Isn't quality more important? It's like, you have no idea what quality is. What is your quality based on? Your love for cinema and your favorite YouTubers that have thousands of dollars to spend on their content every single day, and you're trying to compare yourself to that person? Great, good luck. Go ahead and look at those creators and how they started. They didn't start with that production level. They started with videos that they also had no idea if it was going to work or not. Then they started to double down on things that did. Now they're in a spot that you can't compare yourself to. You do not know what quality is. Don't just use that internal predetermination as a deciding factor of whether or not you post it. Post it because you realize it's a new skill set that you have to get better in. And the only way that you get better at that is through reps. So if you're in those spots, just post it. Do not overthink it. Lastly, comparison is the thief of all joy. But I want to be very specific, and maybe in parentheses, comparing yourself to someone at a much further ahead place. That is the losing formula. I actually think comparing yourself to people at your current stage is not a bad thing. I actually think it invokes really good competition, and it allows you to then get the best out of yourself because there's a standard being continuously set, and that's, in my opinion, a good thing. A bad thing is to try and compare yourself currently to where I am now. It's to compare yourself to these really mega creators and you've not a single post on your page. That comparison is where you're going to completely lose your mind, because you will always be able to find creators that are significantly further ahead. You are not there, and that's totally okay. I'm not at the Gary Vee stage either, right? I'm not at a stage in which I can go ahead and post across, let's say, 45 different accounts because I have an entire agency and everything around it. Like, I don't have that level. I don't have cameramen following me all the time. He's incredible. I'm not there yet, and that's okay. Maybe one day I will be. But the thought behind comparing yourself to the people that's actually at your stage and realizing that if you can continuously use this as a learning experience and realize that, you know what, even if I've plateaued at a certain point in time while another creator has grown 40,000 followers and they're starting at the exact same time as me, then why did they grow faster than I grew? And you're in this comparison, that's the losing factor. But if you can use that experience and you're like, all right, we did start at the same time. Let me think about what type of content they've been producing. Or let's see the videos that actually did well. Oh, actually, I don't necessarily want to post those pieces of content. And that's okay, right? Remember the first point, you control exactly what you want to do. That's fine. But let's say that creator is doing a format that you've not tapped into and it's working consistently. It's like, cool. Let me then start to use that as inspo for a format that I can start to implement myself. It's that healthy competition that could be really useful. But if you're constantly comparing yourself, you will never win. And I want to really craft a realistic timeline for creators, right? We have a VIP card experiences for 4 weeks, and I have creators in there like Felicity, for example, that were literally able to increase 20,000 plus followers during those 4 weeks and make $100,000 on a single post. Remind me just how successful this was from, let's say, a conversion standpoint.
I think from this, it would be around $160,000. AUD.
I have someone like Arabella that had done very similar numbers, right? I have people like that have grown massively. That is not normal in a 4-week experience. Obviously, those people have me and my incredible team every single day for 4 weeks. And even so, there are some creators that only gained 4,000 new followers, 3,000. I say only, but it took me like a year to build that, right? And you start to lose perception of what's actually realistic. If you are a creator and you are slowly growing your audience a few dozen each week, month, right? And that is your win. Great. Know that building a slow and steady audience can be a great winning formula, like it was for me. Stop thinking that you have to go viral in your first month or then it's not worth it. It's like I can immediately tell when a creator will be successful or when they'll not be successful when they ask me certain questions. Like I can't believe I haven't grown in my first 6 months. Hey, like, is this even worth it for me? And I'm like, I look at your content, I'm like, first of all, it sucks, but it's okay that it sucks because you're a new person at this. But stop comparing yourself to somebody that has blown up and they're so much better at content than you, or the fact that maybe you didn't play on even grounds, right? Like this person actually had a creative background, or the fact that it just wasn't your time yet, or you tried to put a pressure on your own growth at a certain date is so problematic because there's so many things outside of your control. Instead, if that person actually asked the question of, hey, Gene, what can I control in this experience? I'm not seeing the numbers that I want to see, but I feel that my system has to be better. I need to learn the actual production of content. I know how to put content better together so that over time I'll hit those numbers. That is the more mature question, right? So comparison is the thief of all joy. If you're comparing yourself to people at a different stage than you are, have a realistic timeline, understanding even the small wins are really, really big wins. And not every win are equal, right? So if you are a creator that's pivoting audiences and you have literally built on one specific niche and you're building completely different content landscape and you are losing followers, your win may be just to find whatever that plateau is until you stop losing followers and you gain your first new follower. Like that could be a win, but someone else might think you've lost 10,000 followers. I can't believe you've done that. It's like they have no idea what they're talking about. So don't listen to them. All right. So those are the important creator mindset tips to understand this is going to be a long-term journey. I want you to win, but this is how, so that you don't ever fall into this place where you're posting consistently for like a month and then you lose this mental well-being and then you're constantly not posting for an entire 6 months and then you come back and you're like, this content thing isn't for me. No, stop thinking about content in those wrong ways. I know it's easy to, but if you can follow those mindset tips, not only will you be successful as a creator, you'll actually be able to build a long-term career.